How's it going? Good morning. It's Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. This is the College Football Ranking Show. It's 1 p.m. Central Time, so it's probably not the morning unless you crashed out and slept in following Alabama's 20-9 victory over LSU. Here's a look at the coaches poll as this is fresh as of 11:30 a.m. Central Time. Now, we're waiting for the AP poll to drop, and, of course, the college football playoff rankings, which is the official rankings, will drop on Tuesday. But these are the rankings that we're going to go over up until the AP rankings drop. Then I'll bring those here. We'll go over some of the question marks that I have within the rankings. I'll point some observations out, and then we'll kind of look to the upcoming games that are taking place in college football this coming week, including Alabama's big matchup against number 11, Oklahoma. So here's a look at the coaches poll. Let's run through it real quick. Let me know where you're watching from inside the comment box. I hope you're enjoying your Sunday. You have Ohio State, who remains number 1 after beating Purdue at 9-0 on the season. You have Indiana, who was able to beat a come-from-behind victory, actually, over Penn State. And that was a pretty good game. Look, I watched that game, and I don't think, and I knew that they wouldn't be penalized for having to come back in that game. It's any given Saturday. It was on the road. Alabama recently had a game on the road where they had to come from behind against South Carolina. I thought Fernando Mendoza did a great job leading the team down the stretch, there in the back end to help Indiana come up with a crucial victory against Penn State. So they are now 10-0 on the season. You also have Texas A&M. Now, I'll give you my take on my rankings. I actually have Texas A&M number 2, but A&M is now 9-0 after beating Missouri. And I will say this about Texas A&M. While they are playing very good football right now and look fast and look very dominant, I do feel that Texas A&M hasn't played the strongest schedule, and they haven't played the best teams in the SEC. Just saying, that's just my observation. You have Alabama right now at 8-1, and I think if we're out there and we take off our Alabama football hats and we're just looking at Alabama, I think we have to ask ourselves this honest question, okay? And it might be painful to answer at this point in time, but if you're looking at Alabama football, do we move them up or do we move them down? Because as I always say, you're only getting better or you're only getting worse. Now, I think you might say, Alabama, yeah, take them a notch down. But on the flip side, if this defense continues to play like they're playing, you got to think the offense eventually comes out with some big plays. I don't know if the running game is ever going to be a part of this identity from the offense, but if the defense can kind of be the backbone, then maybe they don't take a notch back. Georgia at 8-1, they will take on Texas this weekend. We will talk about that in just a second. You have Oregon at number 6. You have Ole Miss at number 7 at 9-1. You have Texas Tech after beating BYU in Lubbock at 9-1 as well. You have Notre Dame 7-2 on the season. Again, after beating Navy, you see Notre Dame climb up every single week. And you have Texas at the number 10 spot as they prep for Georgia this coming Saturday in Athens. On the right side right here, you have Oklahoma at 7-2. You have Georgia Tech, who's now kind of moved up a couple spots after Virginia lost in the ACC. We'll showcase the ACC rankings in just a minute. And the ACC is a mess. I don't, there's a bunch of teams with one loss. I guess you could say the same thing for the SEC. BYU now at number 13 after losing to Texas Tech, and still number 2 in the Big 12, followed by Vanderbilt, Utah, Miami, Michigan, USC, Virginia, and Tennessee. Let me ask you a question inside the comment box, chat. Who has Texas A&M as the number 2 team? Do you? Sound off inside the comment. Yeah, I get it. It doesn't necessarily matter, but I kind of feel that Texas A&M, how they're playing. Does anybody have A&M as number 2? Yes or no inside the comment box. On your rankings that you write out on your notepad as you're enjoying your coffee, I think I do, and we'll wait for the AP to drop. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Coaches poll AP, they'd probably be the same. But here are my rankings right here, okay? So I'll go full screen on this, and these are my college football rankings 1 through 12. And I'll update my college football playoff rankings because there is some criteria that you have to change out because you have to have, one team from all of the conferences make the tournament. But if you're just asking me about my straight up rankings right now, you're like, yo, Kyle, what are your straight up just 1 through 10, 1 through 12 rankings? This is how I'm going to have it, okay? I have it Ohio State number 1. I have Texas A&M at number 2. And I kind of put them up. And look, I'll show you. on Tuesday. I'll show you their resume. They haven't played a gauntlet of a schedule. They really haven't. But I do feel like when I'm watching Texas A&M, they play fast. They've been dominant. They took LSU to the absolute woodshed, okay? And I know Missouri didn't have their quarterback, but still, Texas A&M was ultra dominant in that game yesterday. Then I have Indiana. Look, I'm never gonna fully buy into Indiana unless they beat like a Georgia, unless they beat Alabama head to head. That's just how I'm gonna feel about this Indiana team. I do have respect for their quarterback. I did watch the game yesterday against Penn State. I did marvel at the fact that Fernando Mendoza made throw after throw after throw up until they beat Penn State. I thought it was notable, but also Penn State kind of shot themselves in the foot and mismanaged the clock there at the end of the game. They had one timeout. They didn't spike it. So, they don't have a head football coach, whatever it is. I like Indiana. I understand they're 10-0 on the season. If I'm looking at Alabama and I'm being a college football analyst right now, if I'm just being an analyst, I'm not covering Alabama, I probably move Alabama down. And I used to have Alabama at number 2 following that bye week going into LSU. Until Alabama starts playing better offensively, it's going to be hard for me to continue to keep this team as the number 2 team, number 3 team in the country. It's just not realistic, okay? Alabama is not playing well on the offensive side of the ball from, all facets standpoint. Sometimes the intermediate is there. The deep ball is not. They cannot run the football. They turn the ball over, not often, but it does happen. I think it's happened over the last 4 games. So, and maybe this is rat poison for the crew, right? Is for Ty Simpson to maybe have another come to Jesus meeting with his offense and be like, look, this isn't the standard, okay? It's not the standard. We need to take steps forward. But if I'm assessing Alabama right now, I would say that seemed like and I didn't feel like this against South Carolina. I didn't. But I do feel that you might have went one step backwards if you are Alabama football. Following that, I have Georgia, and I still have Alabama over Georgia because they beat them head-to-head. I think that'd be a hell of a game if they do meet up again or whatever. And then I have Ole Miss. Ole Miss is playing some very good football. Their quarterback yesterday, I know against the Citadel, was like 29 of 33 passing, absolutely balling out, okay? Nobody's talking about Lane Kiffin, who has a top, 5 team, top 6 team or whatever. But can he win the big game? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I mean, DS, the only teams that I put in front of Bama are Ohio State, A&M, Indiana. I mean, that's it. And that's the reason that I have them over Georgia, is because they beat them head-to-head. And same thing and head-to-head matters so much to me, right? When you start ranking these particular teams. Same thing why I have Georgia over Ole Miss. Georgia beat Ole Miss head-to-head, right? So after that, I go Oregon, Texas, Vanderbilt, because Texas beat Vanderbilt just recently. And then I go Oklahoma, and I understand that Texas beat Oklahoma. So, then you look at Tennessee, and Oklahoma beat Tennessee. Now, I have Tennessee at number 11, all right? So, listen, why do I have Tennessee in my top 12? Okay, well, I'll go ahead and show you. Let's go back to this last graphic, okay? I'm talking Tennessee football. Heads up, Tennessee football, okay? Underneath here, I have Tennessee lost to 8-1 Georgia, 8-1 Alabama, and 7-2 Oklahoma, okay? Texas Tech would lose to all those teams as well, and so would Notre Dame. Let me ask you, right through here, when you're looking at the rankings, could Tennessee beat Virginia? Yes or no? Could Tennessee beat USC? Come on. Could Tennessee beat Michigan? Could Tennessee beat Miami? Could Tennessee beat Utah? Could Tennessee, you see what I'm saying? So as I kind of go up the list, I think that Tennessee, I feel that when Alabama beat Tennessee, that was a good win. Tennessee, it was kind of the same thing. Tennessee shot themselves in the foot, and so did LSU when they played Alabama. Those are just the facts. They did. Tennessee had opportunities against Alabama. They throw a pick 6. LSU had 10 penalties. You see what I'm saying? So my top 25 observations are this. Kind of looking at it. Texas A&M, I feel, is a better football team than Indiana. Indiana is 10-0, so Indiana, you keep them at number two or whatever. I do feel, and I just explained to you my reasoning for keeping Alabama where they're at, that number 4 spot. I do question if Texas Tech is for real. I see Notre Dame coming up, and I don't mean like I'm a fan of Notre Dame. It's just Notre Dame wins games. they move up in the rankings, period. They don't even play in a conference championship game, so how can you assess them at the end, right? Texas is still alive and will take on Georgia this weekend. Texas, look, they have a hard road because Texas has Georgia, where they go to, and then they take on Texas A&M in the back end. So they play in some critical games. If you think about it, Texas is kind of already in the playoffs, if you will. And I think Vanderbilt would easily win the ACC or the Big 12. 100%. They would. That's why I still have Vanderbilt kind of alive in my playoff rankings. That's a good football team. I don't care if they're going into overtime with Auburn. You'll see in a couple weeks, Auburn, I would imagine, plays Alabama close. Auburn plays everybody close, okay? Top 25 wins this season. It still stands like this, and you'll see this graphic often. You have Ohio State. They beat Texas when Texas was number 1. They beat Illinois 34-16. Indiana has 2 wins as well, beating Illinois and Oregon. You have Texas A&M, who beat Notre Dame and LSU, who was ranked at that particular time. And you have Alabama, the only team in the country that has been able to beat 4 teams that are in the top 25. And Alabama's teams outside of Missouri, they have 3 of those 4 teams are still in the current top 25. Now, they will play another team from the top 25 this weekend when they take on Oklahoma, right? So here's a look at the top 6. I know Ole Miss is 7, but I threw them in at 6. This is a graphic that I work on for the college football playoffs as well, but to kind of show you the outline in the roadmap of the top 6 remaining games. Okay, so Ohio State, they take on UCLA, Rutgers, and now Michigan, who is now 17 at the back end of the season. Indiana, they have 2 more games. Wisconsin and Purdue, they should finish out 12-0, 100%. Texas A&M, they take on South Carolina, Sanford, and then Texas, and that game will be in Austin. That'll be an interesting game for sure. Alabama, as you know, taking on Oklahoma, Eastern Illinois, and, of course, the haunted trip to Auburn. So they don't leave the state of Alabama, and they go on to the haunted barn at the back end. Texas, they will take on number 10, Texas, this week. Georgia will take on Texas this week. You have Charlotte, and then you have number 12, Georgia Tech. And then you have Ole Miss, who takes on Florida and Ole Miss. So good shot that Ole Miss as well finishes out the season with the record of 11-1. Pretty amazing to think about all the 11-1 teams. Probably, I think about it. So if Ohio State finishes out undefeated, same with Indiana, those are 2 teams that are 12-0. A&M, if they finish out right here, they would be 12-0. That's 3 teams that are 12-0. Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss, they finish out, winning their respective games. They're all 11-1. And then you have Oregon, if they finish out, they would be 11-1 as well. So you have 7 teams with, some incredible resumes going into the playoffs. I guess you could throw on Texas Tech as well. Here's a kind of the slate that we're looking at for this weekend. It's not a huge slate of college football games, but you tell me inside the comment box, who do you have kind of on upset alert out of all these teams? Is it Alabama? Is it Georgia? Is it Notre Dame? This game, I think all 3 of these games will be must-watch TV. And you could theoretically say all these teams are on upset alert, I think, right? Pittsburgh and Notre Dame. I think it's some sort of a rivalry game. I wouldn't be surprised to see that one be tight, although Notre Dame is favored by 10.5 in that game. Game is at South Bend and was snowing recently. Should be a very exciting game. I'm telling you, this Oklahoma team coming in. We were talking this morning on my morning live. Oklahoma, does anybody remember how many sacks that Oklahoma has this season? Does anybody Does anybody remember how many sacks that Oklahoma has this season as a team? Alabama has 18. Oh, the game's at Pittsburgh? All right, thanks. I could fix that real quick. Thank you. Do that. Number 10, Notre Dame, 10.5. Okay, cool. 33, Stanley. Good job, man. Appreciate it. 33 sacks on the season. That is crazy. What's up, Jay Lively? Good to see you, dog. Alabama has 18. I feel like Alabama can get to the quarterback, right? It's not an elite collective pass rush, although 42 is playing out of his mind. But damn, right? 33. And yeah, Mike Fort points out that half was against Auburn. What was it, 10 that they had? So I guess if you take that away, they still have a good amount of sacks on the season, but 33 seems like a lot to me. And Fromm is talking about that Arctic blast that is coming in 100%. Yo, it's going to be freezing. Tomorrow it's going to be like 24 here in Tuscaloosa. All right. Does anybody inside the comment box, okay? Does anybody inside the comment box feel that Texas can beat Georgia? Sound off if you think that Texas can beat Georgia. I look at this game and, Georgia has been playing come from behind football. Texas has kind of found itself. They survived a couple overtime games. Arch Manning seems to be playing a little bit better. I don't know. I think this is going to be a damn good game. Army 3275 says no way. He's taking Georgia. Rex is like, can, yes, will, no, right? Alyssa points out that anybody is beatable. DSGB, sorry, bro, I missed your comment. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Man, I've been under the weather recently, so you have to give me grace. I'll be right back. Thank you, fam. I appreciate it. Sorry about that. Yeah, I've been sick for now. I started feeling a little bit under the weather. Unfortunately, yesterday, right before the game, it kind of just like all hit me at once. So I'll get better. I just, Saturday and Sunday are my biggest days in terms of my work output. So, you understand that show's got to go on, right? So I was asking about Texas and Georgia. I don't know. I think kind of like Alyssa was saying inside the comment box, anybody is beatable in any given Saturday of college football. Who knows? I mean, I feel that if Texas does lose that game, Texas is probably eliminated from the playoff run, right? Because that would be their an additional loss in conference play. And as you're looking at the conference standings here, I'll go full screen so you can see it. Texas right now has just one loss, but as you can see, it would be a critical loss because you have a bunch of teams right there that are 4-2 in conference play. Although maybe Texas isn't out actually because they do have head-to-head wins against Vanderbilt and against Oklahoma, right? So maybe that can kind of be their saving grace. If they do fall to Georgia. I don't know. I just, when I look at this map right here of the SEC overall, I kind of wonder to myself, how many teams will make the college football playoffs from the SEC? I mean, clearly Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss for sure. We have 4 teams. Will it be 5? I honestly feel that the SEC could probably put in 6 teams, but maybe 5 at the most. I think that's what the college football playoff committee will do. Right here you have, I'll go full screen. It's too small. I don't think you can see that. You have Texas A&M up at the top, 6-0, 9-0 overall. Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas with the head-to-head over Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Missouri. Of course, this graphic doesn't show all the teams on the list, but kind of gives you a snapshot of the SEC. And, of course, number 1 and number 2 will play in the SEC title game. The Big 12 looks like this. You have Indiana now 10-0 on the season and 7-0 in conference play, followed by Ohio State, who is 6-0, then Oregon. I would imagine you just get 3 teams that are jumped in for the college football playoffs from here. Although you have USC, Michigan, still alive in the hunt with conference records of 5-1 apiece, and then Iowa moves to 4-2 after losing yesterday to Oregon. The ACC, this is there's a lot going on here. Look what we got. We got Georgia Tech, Virginia, right? Each of those teams recently lost. Virginia yesterday. Then you have SMU, who's 5-1. You have Pitt, who's 5-1. You have Duke, who's 5-1. Louisville lost as well. Miami, they've had 2 losses. So wow, I would imagine that Georgia Tech is the lone team that gets in from the ACC, but a lot of football left, and we'll have to see what happens in that regard. And then the Big 12, you still have Texas Tech and BYU at the 1 and 2 spots, with Cincinnati and Houston trailing behind. And then get this, you could theoretically have James Madison in the college football playoffs. They are now the highest ranked, right? Like out of the big group of 4, that's the next highest ranked team is James Madison, because you had Memphis lose. So maybe, isn't that crazy? That's why I think the college football playoffs is broken. It's like James Madison, I get it. They're 8-1. They're having a great season, but really? In the playoffs maybe? I'll show you the graphic of the AP rankings, because it just came out just a few minutes ago. But the first college football rankings, they recently dropped last Tuesday, and you have the teams from the Big Ten. None of those teams lost. SEC, all those teams won as well. The Big 12, BYU lost, Virginia lost, and you had Memphis lose as well. And from the independent conference or league, whatever you want to call it, Notre Dame won as well. So this is the latest college football playoff map. You got to take Memphis out of there, right? They're gone. BYU, they're gone. So you kind of rotate them with Texas Tech. Everybody kind of moves down a spot, and I think everything for the most part kind of stay the same. So let's look at see if there's any discrepancies real quick within that AP, and then we'll take some questions inside the comment box before we bounce out. Let's see, AP top 25. Bring it up. Yeah, I need to. I'm taking Mucinex and all that stuff. I think it's just got to take its course. All right, so for the AP football rankings, it looks like this. You have Ohio State at the number 1 spot, right? You have Indiana at number 2. I was kind of wondering if Texas A&M, might leapfrog them, but clearly they didn't. You have Bama, who stays the same. You have Georgia, Ole Miss. Yeah, I like this right here. You have Ole Miss at 6 and Oregon 7. Those are all of our rankings. That's not hard to do. Okay, Texas Tech at 8. Notre Dame goes up a spot. They're at 9. You have Texas at 10. And let's see, you got Oklahoma, BYU, Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, and then the last remaining teams, Utah, Miami, and all these other teams looped in there. So, yeah, pretty much the same as the coaches poll. I think the only discrepancy is one has Oregon above Ole Miss, but I think we would all agree that Ole Miss is probably the better football team, right? Woo. All right. We have any questions about the poll? Any observations? Anybody want to give a birthday shout out? Do we need to go over anything while we have our midday window right here talking about the rankings? Anybody have like a bold statement? Anything stands out? Derek Bonzo, what's up, bro? Good to see you. He says AP likes it if you win your last game. Yeah, Derek, obviously the AP and the coaches poll, it's different from the college football playoff rankings in terms of those are the rankings that we use. But I think that, it gives us a good gauge to kind of see how teams are looking at things, but it's kind of what have you done for me lately, right? Let's see. Wade's World says Oregon is not a good team. What's up, Crimson Angel? Good to see you, dog. Okay, Berman is talking about some sort of nose spray. Okay, thank you so much, man. That's probably exactly what I need. And Javion is saying, I think Texas would beat Ohio in a rematch. Really? Beat Ohio State? Oh, man, I don't know about that, man. Let's see. Kimberly, you're looking up top 25. We got top 25 right here, Miss Kimberly. And Oklahoma can beat Bama. It can go either way. Yeah. This is going to be a hell of an exciting week. I'm telling you. Oklahoma is a damn good football team. What's your? I mean, I think when you just kind of look to the two teams, and you see that Oklahoma has a surging defense and just simple football, simple football. Oklahoma is known for their defense, really good defense, a 7-2 team, number 10 or 11 in the country, whatever. Brett Venables, a defensive-minded coach, going against a struggling Alabama offense, right? Like, look, let's call it what it is. They're struggling. So, Pit Stop, what's up, bro? Good to see you, man. Yeah, appreciate it. Sorry I'm a little under the weather right now, man, but you got to dig it out, So, yeah, I think there is cause for concern for this game. And the thing is like, damn, the team cannot run the ball. They really can't. These are a couple other items that we were going over earlier today. We went inside the numbers. I don't know if you guys missed this, but this is following Alabama's victory over LSU. Now riding a 17-game home winning streak. DeBoer is 12-0 at Bryant-Denny. The defense held LSU to 2.3 rushing yards. Yanzi Pierre is on an absolute tear. Ty Simpson, I think the concerning part is, you look to his efficiency, it's kind of gone down over the last couple of games, and the deep ball as well. It was like 2 of 14. So if I'm Oklahoma, I'm going to challenge Alabama to try to run the football, keep them one-dimensional, and see if John Mateer can get lucky. The thing about it is, the defense is playing such damn good football, right? I mean, they are. Yesterday, after the game, Coach Kalen DeBoer, talked about the run game. We kind of went over a couple of those items. But, as we look to the remaining schedules, this is the hardest game right here, Oklahoma. And then the back end one is just hard because it's a rivalry game, right? You have Eastern Illinois, of course, on the board. But, yeah, we'll see how it goes. And we'll continue to cover it, as we move forward. So thanks for kicking it with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube for our college football ranking show. And as news happens, I got you covered right here on Bama Football on YouTube. A lot to go over. Monday will be absolutely slamming as we get Coach Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb, Kane Womack in preparation for Oklahoma, a gigantic matchup at Bryant-Denny Stadium. More videos to come. I just need to get some meds in me so I can be, 100%, for the rest of this huge week. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for giving me some grace on the health status. But we're going to continue to rock it each and every day. Or as news happens, be sure and follow the Facebook page. And I will talk with you guys soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Love you, fam. See you guys.